human's behavior throws from three main sources: desire, emotion, and knowledge. Knowledge is the treasure of a wise man, but beware of false knowledge, for it is more dangerous than ignorance. Forget all that you know, or think you know. Abandon power and enforce decrees. Inward, where the deepest rivers flow, find the currents of eternity. And as always, welcome to my mania. Oh, hello. Hey, it's Jake Johnson here, Untethered. Streaming to you live from the internet. What's happening, everybody? It's good to see you. Hey, April, what's going on? It's Wednesday. It's a windy Wednesday. Windy Wednesday. Winding Wednesday. Winding down. Wasting wistfully while water writhes rapidly. Under the sea, woohoo. 10,000 leagues, baby. What's going on? Anything special happening in your neck of the woods? I have had quite the day. It took me from Monday night when I was having trouble breathing till about an hour ago when I woke up to get back to normal. And I realized what was going on. Took me a while, but my sister said, you know, they're doing construction right outside your window. Oh, all the dust that they kicked up has been coming in my room in the air, making the air hard to breathe, which is why I haven't been able to breathe. I spent a little time away from my computer and it cleared right up. So, hey, there's one problem gone. You can't see it when the air gets dense, you know. Plus, I'm up, elevated. That's the trouble with living lofty. Things tend to rise. I am sensitive. I'm a sensitive boy. I need to be pampered. But apparently, it's not wise to live in a construction zone. God knows how long the dust has been behind those bricks. You know, it's a 150-year-old building or something like that. And I'm breathing in everything they're kicking up. But that's okay. It needs to get done, and I needed to figure out why I couldn't breathe. It's kind of scary there for a minute. I thought I was having a real problem. It wasn't. It was mostly in my head, literally. But now I can breathe fine, and back to normal. But for a minute there, I thought, you know, I might be getting ready to have a heart attack or something. Can't catch my breath. I was reading, and just by virtue of reading, I was running out of air and going lightheaded. That's why I had to take a minute there at the end on Monday night. I had to stop. I've never had to do that before. That's a new thing for me. But I was like, I could see the tunnel vision coming in. I was like, Jesus, I need to take a breath. Yeah, I'm used to singing like hot shows and lots of energy being expended. So I'm used to being in that lightheaded space because when you sing, you always pushing air out and you have to gasp to get the air in, you know. But doing it slowly is not fun. And they get paid, those idiots. Well, they get paid because the work needs to be done. And it does need to be done. And far be it for me to try and stop them, but I just need to pay more attention to my environment. One of the things that I did because they're working on the wall is I took my air conditioner out. So I haven't had an air conditioner on in like a week and a half, something like that. So there's no circulation going on in here. So all that dust is just coming in here and staying in here. There's no way for it to get out. So I finally got some windows opened and got some fresh air coming in, and it's good. But I'm going to have to vacate anyway because I got to inspect the building. So, I don't know if it's going to hinder my schedule or not, but if it does, it'll only be for like a week, and I'll figure it out. It's kind of up in the air right now is the reason I'm bringing it up, because I don't really know the answer to what I'm going to do or what's expected of me to do. So, there's a possibility I'll be going home, and there's also a possibility I might just vacate for a couple days and come right back. Who knows? Depends on what happens. If I go home, it's going to be a week or so before I can get the podcast rolling there, because I have to set everything up there and tear everything down here. And there's a lot to it, a lot more than you think there is. But we'll see. Where's your mama at tonight? I haven't seen her yet. She's usually the first one here. With bells on. Dang-a-langin'. Dang-a-lang-dang goes a trolley. And where are you? Are you home, on the road, or at a restaurant? Hey, there's Darlene. Yes, I'm wondering that too. No, nothing to be worried about. There she is. Today's all about laying back, enjoying the conversation, and not getting too serious. Because Monday was pretty serious. Got to balance it out a little bit. Thank the Lord. Yes, thank the Lord every day. I'm here just getting home from St. Pete. Getting home stuff. She was shopping, huh? Getting some stuff for the house. I did a little shopping today, too. I went out and got me a hamburger and some sweet tea. No doctors in St. Pete. I got you. I understand. How did that go? Everything come out the way you wanted it to? I hope so. April, you've been working all day? What are you working at? What are you doing? Are you working with Kev, or you got your own thing going on? Oh, I got you. Well, that's interesting. Being a secretary or whatever. I think they call that a paralegal. That must be nice. Your own little family business going on. Speaking of you and Kev, It's been a while since you've mentioned anything about me coming to marry you guys. Have y'all made a plan yet? Do you have a date in mind? You know, I can't just jump up at the spur of the moment and run. I have to plan it out. It's cool but overwhelming. Well, yeah, all new things are overwhelming. You're accustomed to being a waitress, so you have to learn how to be a new thing. That's a good thing. I do that often, challenge myself with something I've never done before. It's good to be outside of your comfort zone. That makes you grow. Makes you improve. You could always grow a mustache and change your name to Richard. Well, I have been a medical receptionist for a neurologist almost 7 years. Have you? I didn't know that. Well, then you ought to be easily transitional. It's not that different, the law and medicine. They're both full of lots of big words. And I'm assuming you're transcribing and setting up appointments and such. Answering phones. Can't be that much different. Data entry, yep. I've considered doing that kind of work, but they don't like to hire guys with long hair to do secretarial work for some reason. Even though I can type 80 words a minute. They're like, but you're a dude. And I'm like, yeah, one that needs to get paid. And clearly doesn't have a problem with your authority. Which I do, but I never tell them that in the beginning. Wow, I believe that. What's impressive? Oh, the typing thing? That's not that impressive. I know people, my sister can type like 120 words a minute. And not look at the keyboard. I can't do that. I have to look at what I'm typing. She not only not looks at the keyboard, she looks at something other than what she's doing when she's typing. Like she'll turn her head and be typing like that. I don't know how she does that. I'd have a bunch of lines of gibberish if I did that. No, but among the things that I would consider of me that are impressive, typing isn't one of them. But thank you for the compliment. Yeah, she's very multitask oriented. Not me. I can do a lot of things, but I focus on one thing at a time. I have to because I'll get so spread thin that I won't be able to focus on anything. Task oriented. Women are a lot more mentally acute than men are. You got a lot of drama always going on, always something up in the air, always something bothering you, always something on your back of your mind. Men, we are very simple. Problem, solution, sex. Simple. That's it. Now, is she and the girls? They're good. I saw her this afternoon for a little while. We sat and chat. She went to the store with me. We hang out pretty regular. I mean, we don't spend a great deal of time together, but we get our moments in once or twice a week. You'd think I'd, hang out with her every day because I'm right above her, but I'm always busy and she's always busy. So if I do go hang out with her, I'm just sitting there watching her while she's on the phone, and that's not very fun. So have to choose our moments wisely, I guess. Typical man thing. Well, that's all men. You're assuming that there are men that are other than that, and there aren't. All men. Problem, solution, sex. That's it. That's the only thing up there. It's the only thing going on. All the stuff I do that's extra is that, extra. The actual programming, 100% male. Women, on the other hand, they'll take problems and store them up like a camel. You'll be fighting about something and she'll say, "You're just like your mother." That's it. They know just what button to push. They'll hit you with things that don't even affect you for 2 or 3 hours. You'll wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning fighting mad. Don't even know why you're mad. That little seed that was planted during that argument. Like mental ninjas. What's up, Kev? I've decided how I'm going to do your graphic for the sports thing. I'm going to put a big shield, and I'm going to call it the Hyperbole, except I'm going to spell it hyperbole in 2 words. Hyperbole, B-O-L-E. Welcome to the Hyperbole. Inflation is what is up. Well, so are helicopters, but what can you do? Because y'all push those buttons and cross lines. Yeah, but we're not aware of it. That's what I'm trying to tell you. The only reason those buttons exist is because you invented them. They don't even cross our minds. Cool, there's Nemo was anyway. Yep, he slips in every now and then. That's called a clownfish, in case you didn't know. They're the only fish that can swim in that thing that looks like a mop at the bottom of the sea, because that little thing is poisonous, and if it touches anything, it usually kills it. But the clownfish can swim all through it, and it doesn't bother them for some reason. They have a symbiotic relationship. No sports tonight. What's not true? Everything I say is true. Or at least it's true at the moment. Yeah, I might be wrong, but I'm not lying about it. I believe it. But I'm not wrong. I've been married many times. I know how women work. And men. And both shortcomings. Yay, no sports. I saw a woman in court today that looked like a clownfish. Too much makeup. I've seen those before too. And I don't understand why they do that. I think it's like kind of like when I get stuck on a thought and it runs through my head till I'm so sick of it that I want to dig it out with a spoon, but it's still there. I think when a woman gets to applying that makeup, it's like that perfection gene kicks in, and they can't stop until they get it just right, but it never gets just right, so they keep adding and keep adding. Pretty soon they got 1.5 inches of mud caked on their face, but now they can't tell because they're so deep in it that it just looks normal to them when everybody else thinks they look like a clown. But nobody will tell them they look like a clown because that would be stupid. Because that would get into the way of the programming, which is problem, solution, sex. And that's how men operate, all of them. even the ones you don't think are operating that way, like your daddy or your great-grandpa. Trust me, he operates that way. But knowing that is a powerful tool. You can predict a lot knowing what drives one's behavior. Now, I watch people for a living. My job literally entails seeing someone in the dark and assuming within seconds what it is they're after so that I can create an environment that will entertain them. So I have to look for people that have personal issues or had a bad day or something like that so that I can pay attention to that person and take their mind off of what ails them, and then they come away thinking they've had a good time. So that's kind of the entertainer's role. So you can literally judge someone within seconds if you understand how their programming works. So it's kind of neat to know that on certain levels, people are that simple. They don't have any more to them than that. On other levels, it's more difficult, but on a basic level, people have very simple instructions in their mind. They're after something, It's always about the action of what they're doing, and whatever that action is can tell you a whole lot about what kind of person they are, where they come from, why they have that desire. People are fascinating. No man knows how women work. Well, on some level, that's true. But again, it depends on what we're talking about. On a basic level, I certainly do understand how women work. On a deeper level, I don't, because they change the rules on you all the time. But that's not a lack of understanding. That's a lack of being able to keep up. I know you do. Just trying to make conversation. And I certainly don't want to talk about stuff that goes over your head. So obviously, what rules? Just the basic rules. Like what motivates a person, what drives a person's emotional state. What are the reasons behind why people do things in certain environments. Like, for example, if a girl is by herself, she'll be self-conscious of herself. But if a girl is with a group of friends, she'll be subconscious only of the weakest friend in that group, the one that needs the most attention. And then all the other girls will rally around that girl and dry her tears up and take her to the bathroom and want to giggle and talk and make her feel better. However, if there's a man involved and one of the alpha girls are attracted, the alpha girl will tell all the other girls that the weak girl has herpes or something to that effect, so that she doesn't have a chance, so that the alpha remains intact. And also, there's always an alpha in a group of girls. Always. It's worse than men. This is going in the wrong direction. Okay? Well, what direction would you like it to go in? You tell me what you want to talk about. I'm just responding. Men don't give a crap about that, Jake, What's that? Don't give a crap about what? We do not need to talk about how women work. Quick talk about something else. Football, rocking chairs, cigars, anything. Well, I didn't bring it up. I was just responding to it. So we can talk about whatever you like. Who they do. I beg to differ. I would say it was paramount. But I don't want to give anybody's secrets away, so we can change the subject. Him, and him. Yeah. I wouldn't know anything about that. I quit playing the game years ago, and I agree with you. So did I. And the game is exactly that. It's a game. Anybody that thinks it's not a game hadn't been playing very long. I, for one, personally, have never liked the game. You know, the cat and mouse, the whole chase her till she catches you thing. But I do see it. I do know that it's there. I just don't particularly enjoy playing. I tend to be searching for something a little deeper, and most people don't want to get there until they've been friends for a while, you know. Now about the election. It is next Tuesday, and I will be hunkered down at the hacienda watching the results. Likewise. But I can already tell you what the results are going to be. My prediction is the same as it was in 2016. Trump's going to win in a landslide, and then they're going to spend the next 7 months, or 79 days anyway, contesting it. And when they realize that they can't contest it, they're going to drum up a bunch of random garbage to fill the news cycles with until you're going out of your mind in hysteria. I love watching the presidential election results almost as much as I like watching football. Yeah, it is kind of interesting. Especially how the loser reacts. And it seems like we've got a bunch of sore losers this time around. And I believe it's going to be a problem. If you think the riots and all that are going to stop just because the election is over, nope. They're going to bulk against the results to the nth degree and cause as much noise as they can cause. Kevin, you're like a gnat that won't go away. Wow. That's mean. You must be in a mood. Get the Tech 9s out. Lock and load. I got mine. You got yours? I got a 45 and a Peacemaker ready to rock and roll. You got a fly swatter? She's been with me all day. What a lucky woman. Compared to what I have said. LOL, I'm kidding. Oh, I know you're kidding. It's all in good fun. There's nothing wrong with having a little fun. It's so hot in here, I gotta put my hair up. Don't ever let them give you any shit about your ponytail, Jake. I've got 1, 2, and I want to start swatting. Yeah, I'd say that job would probably keep you busy. Keep you involved, anyway. Kevin, when is the date? Somebody needs to give me a date so that I can prepare to go down to Florida. April will be ready soon. She has been in the bathroom primping. It's Mexican food night. Oh, that sounds good. When, where? When, where? Christmas is the 25th. You want to get married on Christmas? Well, that's good that you're not required to wear a mask. Kind of hard to enjoy Mexican food with a mask on. It gets all over the place. Wherever you go, whatever you do, I will be right here waiting for you. Yeah, I kind of tuned out after the last debate because all the stuff that came after it was just a bunch of backbiting and mouth flapping. So I hadn't really paid close attention to the news since the last debate. Except I've been kind of halfway paying attention to what's going on with Hunter Biden, because I believe that's going to affect his dad in the long run, because his dad is involved and there's no way to see around that. But one thing you can be sure of, that is one corrupt family. And they've had their fingers in the pie for a long time. And it's going to come back to bite them in the end. It's going to come back biting Biden. Believe that. The one thing you can say about Trump is, even though they have spent the better part of 3 or 4 years trying desperately to blame him for everything under the sun, including the sun, that he doesn't appear to be guilty of any of the things that the other guys are guilty of. While he may be corrupt, he's certainly not corrupt in the same manner. He's not bought by the lobbyists, and he's not swayed by foreign interests and things like that. So at the very least, you can say that he's clean in that manner, which is why I think he keeps winning and why I think they can't hurt him. No matter what they put out on him, it just rolls off his back like water off a duck's back, because he's clean and they can't make anything stick to him. Now, I'm sure that he's corrupt because he's a billionaire, and you can't be rich without being corrupt. There's just no way to do the two things. They're mutually exclusive, those two things, being rich and being corrupt. Matter of fact, I'd even venture to say that you can't be rich at all unless you do something illegal. That's the only way to get rich, unless you were born into it. I think you could probably change your position. You could probably get a little wealthier, but you won't ever be rich, like billionaire status or anything like that, unless you're involved in oil or power of some kind. So however Trump maintains his money, I would say if he's not careful, that could hurt him in the long run, because eventually something's going to come out. However, he does not appear to be bought and paid for by, our enemies. So I hope that it remains that way, and I hope that he remains being president. Because the alternative is terrifying. The things they want to do, the things they want to enact, I don't want any part of it. The things they've already done and enacted, the rioting and the scare tactics and the bullying, I'm not interested. I got more important things to worry about. And if that's the way it's going to be, I'm just not going to pay attention. I'll just tune out. They can't do any better than that. And don't get me wrong, I love politics. I mean, I was a political science major, for God's sakes. I enjoy politics. What I don't enjoy is the way politics is happening at the moment, because it isn't the way it's supposed to be. That's not the way they designed the system. It seems more like they're celebrities bickering for and vying for top attention, you know. Politics has been made celebrity because of the internet. See, years ago, you didn't have access to all the information that we have now, which means if you even knew who was in the Senate, you didn't know what they were doing or what their day was like or what they did on a daily basis. Now you can find all that stuff out at the drop of a hat, so you've got a very clear picture of what's happening, which turns them all into camera whores, and that's what the way they proceed, is trying to get the most attention, the most on-air time, lobbying for whatever it is they're trying to get done. And then that ultimately makes them corrupt. A miracle has happened. April is ready to go. Well, that is a miracle. Sent from on high. And got time to spare? Yeah, I'd say that was pretty impressive. Get a claim, sign your name, that's all you have to do. Get a claim to what, April? I missed that one. Sign your name, that's all you have to do. Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about there. George Michael, wham, bam. George Michael. You gotta have faith, faith, faith. I gotta have faith, faith, faith. What a song for that kind of guy to sing. Shut up, me peacock. Y'all are so mean to each other. It's like you're an old married couple. Remind me of Alma and Marvin. Alma and Marvin. I used to listen to them bicker all the time. It was hilarious. She'd give him hell, and he'd take it. Where are y'all going? I think they said Mexican restaurant. Abuelos. Pollos Locos Chicken House. Is the song. I got you. I got chicken nuggets and a hamburger to eat. That's what I'm having for supper. Every now and then I like chicken nuggets. It's unrecognizable meat, but tastes so good with some honey mustard. I've written a lot this past few days. I've been about a week in a writing mood, and I've written all kinds of crazy things that I'm excited to go through and start chewing the fat off of it and see what I can come up with. I might end up having 4 or 5 songs out of it, and then maybe even a short story or two before I'm done. I've got one story that has nothing to do with a song. I'm making turn it into a song, but it's a comedy about an outlaw. I may just release it on Facebook. I hadn't decided yet. Or I may just read it on the internet, on the podcast. I hadn't decided how I'm going to handle that. I got to do something with it. It came out, so I got to use it. What I'd really like to do is have a column in a magazine. I'd really like to have that. But I don't think that job's viable anymore with everything on the internet. There is a place where I can write, but they won't pay me anything, so I don't want to do that. There's a place called Bertaria Times, which is basically a homesteader, right-wing, prepper-type organization. And they have like a news website, but the news is written by the people in the club. So it's kind of in the perspective of the people that are homesteading and things like that, building land and growing food and having goats and things like that. So that's pretty cool. And I might be able to scratch my writer's itch by releasing a few articles through them, but like I said, it's a non-paying gig, so I don't really want to do that. If I'm going to write, if I'm going to produce, I'd like to get paid for it. I just don't know where to go to get that. It's not the kind of job you can just apply for. You have to know somebody. It's largely ran by nepotism. I might just make a blog and publish my own stuff for myself and see who wants to read it. Oh, like a Dear Abby. Yeah, kind of like that, but more on the lines of more random stuff, not just relationship advice, but like, I wrote an op-ed one time about the color blue and where it came from. I don't know if you ever read that or not. You can find it on Facebook if you look hard enough. It's about 1.5 years, 2 years old. But it's a very interesting story about the color blue. It's not a natural color. We were not born with the ability to see or even possess the color blue. We invented it. And it came from a particular mountain in Prussia, which is modern day Ukraine or something like that, somewhere in that area. There's a mountain there that has a particular mineral in the mountain that, when mixed with certain other things, turns a certain color of blue, Prussian blue to be specific. And that's where we actually get the color from. Anyway, the story was pretty lengthy, and it was captivating. You could read the thing and be excited to read it the whole way through. There's just no place to put a story like that, unless somebody's looking specifically for that information. There really doesn't exist a platform to talk about random things in that manner. So I just put it out on Facebook. And I wasn't trying to accomplish anything in particular by writing it. It was just something that interested me at the time, and so I wrote a little op-ed about it. I tend to do that about 2 or 3 times a year, but I'd like to do a lot more of it. Dear Abby. I remember when that was a thing. Is it still a thing? Do they still do Dear Abby on the internet or something? I wouldn't know. There was a period of time that, just to keep posting things on my Facebook page so it didn't go dry, I did a series called I'm Just Saying, where I would spit out some random factoid or something ironic and then cap it with I'm Just Saying. And I did that for about 1.5 years. About 3 times a week I'd put something out. I'd like to have all of those things in one place, like a little story or a little, maybe a poem book or something, haiku book. I'm pretty good at haikus. So did I hear you say you had to leave the shop? Yes. Yeah, they're inspecting it to find out whether or not they're going to condemn it or not, because there's no money to get the job done that needs to be done from the people who own the building. So we're in a holding pattern. Nobody actually knows what's happening at the moment until we find out what the inspector says. Yeah, I assumed that writer was dead, but I didn't know if they were continuing it with someone else or not. But yeah, one way or another, I'm going to have to do something this week. Couldn't be at a worse time, but that's the way it goes. She doesn't know yet either. Like I said, we're in a holding position. Just waiting to find out what the next move is going to be. If they don't do something, the building's going to fall down because it's old and nobody's done any maintenance on it in a very long time. And it's in danger of crumbling. And they went in there to refurbish the front and found a whole bunch of problems that they didn't know was there to start with. Which term are you referring to, April, that you love? Is there a reason you can't go home? Just no, not particularly. It's just a matter of doing it, you know. The downside of being, yeah, I was just fixing to say the downside of being there is that there's no one there but me. And that's the way it'll remain because I'm not apt to go out searching for company. So if anything arises or occurs that needs more attention than I can give it, it'll just have to be overlooked because there won't be anybody else there to give any attention to it. And that plus just difficulty in getting it done, that's all. There's no real reason. And I may just do that. But if I go home, I'm going to stay there because it's too much effort running back and forth, you know. I can't really think of a good reason why I shouldn't do it. A lot happened there that I don't care to think about all the time. Do I have internet there? I don't have anything there at the moment. No lights or anything. I've been here for the better part of 2 years. So I'm going to have to get all that done. And if they end up making us leave, it may interfere with my schedule for a week or two, but I'll try to get something working where that isn't hindered. Maybe I'll do a on the road thing and just go down to the McDonald's and use their Wi-Fi 3 times a week. Sports update. No one is playing. There really nothing going on today sports-wise? That's odd. Seems like there's been something every day. mainly what I've been doing for the past years, focusing on trying to get my voice back, focusing on trying to be healthy, trying to get my brain back working the way it ought to, and trying to get through all the stuff, the drama that occurred before I got here. You know what I'm talking about. Trying to make some kind of sense of that and some kind of headway. Oh, sorry, Kevin. You gonna be all right? He used to be interested in me and not so much about himself. Wow. That sounds like an issue that needs addressing. By the way, I thought you said adultery was weird sex between married people. No, what I said was adultery was the act of sex between married people. Like if you're married, you can't go have sex with someone else. If they're married, you can't go have sex with them because that's adultery. That's not the same thing as fornication, which is a sexual act that is lascivious in its nature. Like rape would be fornication. It's the nature of its lasciviousness. The act of sex itself is a beautiful thing, and it's ordained by God, and there's nothing wrong with that, but there has to be a commitment. You can't just do it randomly. It has to mean something. And ultimately, it's about bloodline. You have to be preparing to pass down your seed. So that's the purpose of it. It's just the icing on the cake that is so much fun. Get her done, Jake. I'm so sick of it. If that is true, April and I are in trouble. Well, no, not necessarily. Because there's this beautiful thing called forgiveness. All you have to do is ask for it. So ask for forgiveness and repent, and then go your way and sin no more. Make the best of what you got. It will comfort you to know that God himself is a divorcee, because it is stated in the Bible that at one time he spread his skirt over Israel, and to make that statement is to say he took Israel to be his bride, metaphorically, obviously. But then he was so disgusted with their actions that he divorced them. He cut them out. So, if it's good for the goose, it's good for the gander. That's all I'm saying. But you're fine. You guys will do all right. Just ask for forgiveness and move forward. Just be aware of it. That's the main thing. Be aware of that what you're doing is a extenuating circumstance. Extenuating circumstance. I personally am a collector of wives. I've had enough to fill a shelf. I'm not proud of that. If I had my way about it, I'd still be married to the first one I tried to marry, but that's not the way life worked out. So, you do the best you can and ask for forgiveness for the things you can't do well. Kevin's already passes many of them. You're up one divorce on God then? Yeah. I'm up 5. We are both divorced now, and I have made peace with God. Well, then you're in the right. That's all you got to do. Just be aware that what you have to do is not necessarily the way God intended it. Ask for forgiveness and move forward. That's all. And think about it no more. Once you're forgiven, it's blotted out of the book of life, and you don't have to consider it anymore. God won't ever bring it up. You don't need to bring it up. So there's 2 parts to being forgiven. First, you have to accept that you're forgiven. And then you have to let go of the thing you feel guilty about, that you asked for forgiveness in the first place. You can't keep bringing it back up. You can't keep dwelling on it because you've already been forgiven for it. So it doesn't exist anymore. And from the moment it ceases to exist, that's when you move forward and try to build your life towards God. No matter what you do, no matter where you go or how far you fall, there's always a place for you to fix your relationship with God and build it back. There will never be a time when you're cut out completely, unless you choose to be cut out completely. If you choose that, then it's out of God's hands. That's your choice, and you have free will. I don't think any of us are going to do that, though. I know I'm not going to. But by the way, there is on the books a legitimate reason to get divorced that is acceptable, meaning that your marriage is annulled in the eyes of God and it's not held against you. And that's if one of you commits adultery. If the adultery is committed, then the divorce can be, you can write a bill of divorcement and it will be honored by God. That's what I'm saying. But that's the only thing in the eyes of God that is a reason for getting divorced. Everything else, like not getting along, you can work that out. It takes two to make a marriage work in the first place. One person can't do all the work or be expected to, or make all the compromises. So it may be that your divorce was justified. I don't know. I wasn't there and I don't know any of the details. But you do, so you know whether it was justified or not. And if not, then you need to repent. If it is justified, then you did the right thing and there's nothing to worry about. But in the future, going forward, for both of your sakes, keep in mind the value of that marriage and know that it isn't intended to be broken once it's made. And if both of you put that thought first and work towards your marriage daily, like give each other the time needed, make the room for the relationship, then you will last a long, long time. Time to order food. First course is an old-fashioned. At least one cherry in the drink. Yummy. I don't think that's a course, though. I think that's a beverage. Unless it's one of those fancy restaurants where the cherry is all you're going to get to eat in the first place. Get a plate with a little gravy drizzled across it and two little pieces of meat in the middle and a pea. I don't understand those people. Might as well just make you a kale smoothie and work on your health. I did that for a while. It's kind of expensive to do, but let me tell you what, it's effective. I lost like 45 pounds in 10 days. All water weight. Just by drinking kale juice with a little ginger in it and some What else did I put in it? I put some lettuce in it. I put some lemons, some apples, some ginger, some kale, a little celery. What else was there? I think I put a couple tomatoes in there. Anyway, it was quite disgusting to drink, but it was very good for you, and I could feel the energy level that I had from drinking it. The only reason I didn't continue is because my mom and my sister wanted to do it at the same time, and they needed it more than I did, and it was so expensive that we couldn't all do it, so I just backed out. Do you want to talk about what it will take to go home? I thought we did talk about it. Basically, I just have to do it. Just pack up and go home. There's nothing really stopping me from doing it. Of course, I got to get the water and the lights cut back on and all that stuff. But that's just a matter of going down there and paying the bill. And then a couple of days of cleaning, because I'm sure it's awful dusty down there and the grass is too high. It's not an impossible task. Oh, you mean financially? Well, I don't really know. I'm sure it would cost a few $100s. I haven't asked for that, though. I'm just trying to survive. Reminded me of the candlelight days. What, with a Southern Comfort and a Collins? Southern Comfort Collins? What is that, like a Shirley Temple but with alcohol? Tom Collins. It's been a long time since the Shirley Temple days. I remember those days. Southern Comfort, I got you. Oh, Southern Comfort, please take me home. Oh, Southern Comfort, I'm driving you home. Oh, oh, There's a song. I hadn't been drunk in a very long time. I think the last time I got drunk was at Madame Mesquite's Motel Bar and Grill drinking Goldschlager. Kevin's got a song called Southern Lover is Beautiful. I'd like to hear it. Tonight, it's a drink in honor of Jake. Oh, thank you. An old fashioned. Are you calling me old? You'd be right. Old man. A dinosaur. And let's not forget, I believe What do you believe? Well, what's an old fashioned? Is that a beer or is that some kind of liquor? When you say old fashioned, I picture like a 22-ounce malt liquor kind of thing. That might be Old English. Redneck Romance. I'd like to hear that one too. First, it was the butt shuffle to a song called Ride. What is a butt shuffle? Sounds fun, whatever it is. The old butt shuffle. Hey, baby, want to do the butt shuffle? April is young, you are old, I'm over the hill, and Darlene is ancient. Damn. Yeah, that sounds about right. I'm definitely old. I ain't far from ancient myself. I mean, I do remember when they made dirt for the first time. What would you say if I sang out of key? I'm kind of excited to get that song I've been working on done and get it out of my head. It's driving me crazy for the past few days. I think I got the body of it finished now. I just need to put it together. Ancient is like centuries ago. Yeah, that's what the word means. You're seasoned. Seasoned like a 6-ounce porterhouse. I thought I was seasoned too. It turned out I was just salty. Salty, salty. An old salty dog. But you know what they say? A bird in the hand is worth more than two in the bush. It's a bourbon with a sugar cube in it. Ew. You muddle the sugar, then put some bitter on it. You then pour in the bourbon and ice. You end with a twist of orange peel and a cherry. One old fashioned. Huh. Shows you how much I know about mixology. You can have any drink you want as long as it comes from one bottle. And goes into one shot glass. What would you like to drink? Well, what do you have? We have bourbon, and tequila. I personally favor tequila. I like that mezcal with the worm in it. Yummy. What is the butt shuffle? It's a dance where you move and shake your butt. Shake it, bake it, and let it roll, baby. Huh. The butt shuffle. I thought they just called that dancing these days. One thing I've noticed about the dancing, when I first started playing music, people would go out and two-step and one-step and do all kinds of fancy dancing and twirling and flipping around, and now they just bounce up and down. That's definitely a difference. They all huddle together at the front of the stage and just bounce collectively. And rub their booty on somebody. Patron gold. It's different, that's for sure. But I kind of like that better because everybody's paying more attention because they're all up front close to the stage. But that's just the young people just don't know how to dance like they used to, I guess. So when I came up, when you went out, you dressed up. Everybody had on their best shirt, the best pair of pants, nice boots. You went out and found you a country club to go listen to a band. The band would be booked for an entire month. Every weekend for an entire month. Friday and Saturday night. They'd go in, set up, and they didn't tear down for an entire 30-day period. Now, all the shows are one-nighters. You go in, you set up, you're exhausted by the time you're done, you do the show, and then you have to tear down and move on to the next one. And I know that's true, Jake. It is true. It's just a difference in how things are done, or how they used to be done. I will tell you that if you do not work out the buttocks muscles, you can hurt yourself doing the butt shuffle. I bet. I ain't gonna be doing it anytime soon because I can't dance in the first place. Never could. I could slow dance, but that's about it. Sorry, phone died, had to reboot and plug in. Yeah, that happens. You fixed it, though. That's what's important. The charging port on my phone is broken, so I can't plug it into a charger. When I charge it, I have to take the battery out and plug the battery into a wall charger till it's completely charged, which means I have to go an hour without a phone every time I charge it. I used to have 2 batteries, but one of them died, so now I only have 1. Johnny Cash would put on his cleanest dirty shirt. I love that line. That and they all wore black because that's the only color that all of them had. Man, it was no deeper than that. That decision. I always thought that was funny. Why do you wear black, Johnny Cash? Because we all needed a shirt that matched, and black was the only color we all had. My phone is dying too, and we're in the restaurant, but Kev has his. Well, that's good. At least you won't be cut completely off. How do you charge it out of... I just take the battery out and put the battery in a charger and plug the charger into the wall. It's like one of those battery charger deals. Not like the kind you plug into your phone, but like the kind you put the battery in and click it in, and then it just plugs into the wall. Yep. You just have to go buy your battery charger and take the battery out. You can get them on eBay pretty cheap. I think I paid like $5 for mine. It wasn't much. And today's cameras all use batteries. You have to order a special thing to plug them into the wall, so all my cameras operate off of batteries, so I had to have some battery chargers. Just make sure you get the right one for your battery. Or make sure you get one that's adjustable, that you can adjust for different batteries. Mine has a little sliding door on it that when you slide it open, you push the battery in and it makes a connection on the two little things, and the door actually holds the battery in place because it's spring loaded. So then you can just plug it into the wall. I ordered a ribeye and 2 enchiladas. Yeah, that sounds like a heartburn waiting to happen. Enchilada, that's chicken, right? Chicken and peppers. Wrapped in, whatever that is, that bread. A little flat, round bread. Like a taco shell. Is that what an enchilada is? See, when I go to a Mexican restaurant, I always order the taco salad because it's the only thing that I recognize. I don't know what any of the other words mean, so I don't ever order that stuff. And we got a pretty cool little Mexican restaurant right down the road from here, too. That's kind of like mom and pop owned. It's not a chain. It's like a, self-owned restaurant. They do their own cooking and stuff. I might go get some of their food tomorrow. It sounds good. Kind of like a burrito, but it has enchilada sauce on it. Oh, okay. Okay. I thought enchilada meant something to do with chicken, but I didn't know. And maybe different ingredients. I got you. So it's all about the sauce. That's what makes it an enchilada. Gotcha. Because it looks just like a burrito. They do not have Heinz 57. The enchiladas are beef with sour cream sauce. That sounds delicious. That's what I like. I like sour cream. I got you. You can make one with beef or chicken or whatever. So it's basically is a burrito. It just the sauce is what makes it different. Gotcha. That's why hamburgers are so much more simple. You got your bun, you got your burger, you got your pickle, you got your ketchup. You don't need anything else. Lettuce would be nice, but it's not necessary. And I always go for the McDouble that's got the onions in it. That's always good. They have chicken enchiladas. The sauce is awesome. The next time I go to a Mexican restaurant, I'll get enchiladas just to see. You think the wrap is different too? I really don't know. I can't even remember. Tortilla, that's what that thing is called. I couldn't remember that word for a minute. El tortillo. All this talk of food is making me hungry. When I get down here, I'm going to heat me up my hamburger and eat that, I think. And my chicken nuggets. I got chicken nuggets. Special sauce. Honey mustard. I like mustard and I like honey, but honey mustard's not the same as honey and mustard. Go figure. It has been a nice laid-back day, let me tell you. I hadn't been much worth anything today. Laying back the whole day. A pretty heavy weekend, though. Sunday and Monday were both excellent podcasts. Till I ran out of breath Monday. That took a little out of me. I'm glad I figured out what that problem was. I thought I was having a real problem, but turns out I was just suffering from construction dust. Couldn't catch my breath because the air quality was so bad in here. But I got the windows open now. And I got the blower turned on so that the air circulates. And already I can tell a difference in here. One good thing, what do you got here? Enchiladas are flour tortillas wrapped up with a meat inside and then cooked. When done, you put the sauce on it. I am having the sour cream sauce. I love sour cream. That makes everything better. One good thing about going home is I have an entire room to set my studio up in, so I'll be able to spread out a little bit, have a little bit more room to work, which means I'll be able to do better production stuff. As opposed to where I'm at now, which is the green screen is directly behind me and the camera is directly in front of me. There's really no room to go anywhere. I can't stand up and do anything or anything like that. But with the new set of cameras coming and the space to do something, I'll be able to do some videos musically. And I'll be able to do more stuff like having pictures behind me and things like that. It'll be pretty cool. Well, it's 10 o'clock, so let me do this thing. If you happen upon this video and you realize that we're laying back, while we're laying back, how about do me a favor and press that like button and subscribe. Hit the bell icon so you get notifications. Follow the links in the description below, and hell, leave me a comment. Let me know what you're thinking about. You can challenge me with a question or cuss me out for my fashion sense. However you want to do it. Also, if you want to support, go to paypal.me/JakeJohnsonBand. Every little bit helps. Thank you for watching. We got that out of the way. I think Friday I'm going to try to attempt to do a little music because my voice feels 100% better today than it did the last few days. I can actually talk today, which is a good thing. I love you too, darling. Hope you have a good night. So I'm thinking Friday I'm going to attempt to play some music. If my voice holds sturdy tomorrow, which it has all day today, so maybe it'll be better tomorrow too. So maybe Friday it'll be better still. And I'll be able to do some actual singing. And just as soon as I'm able to, I will. And Kevin, you had mentioned playing all of my original songs in order or in a row. I'll see to it that you get some of that when I can sing again. We love you and we will see you. God bless. Well, God bless you too, darling. And I love y'all. Y'all have a great night, and I will see you on Friday. Enjoy the dinner. Thanks for hanging out with me. Peace out.